First, let me welcome you to the annual meeting of the American College of Sports Medicine and World Congresses held here in San Diego, California. Today we have the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Bo Fernhall, Dean of the College of Applied Health Sciences at the University of Illinois at Chicago. Thank you very much for taking some time today to visit with us.
Thank you.
So Dr. Fernhall, let's begin a little bit with about your background first. What first inspired you to enter the exercise science sports medicine field?
Well, I've been active in sports since I was a little kid and played competitive sports through college, and then actually played competitive badminton even after college. But so that part of being involved in sports really something I wanted to pursue. I thought I wanted to be a PE teacher, and after doing my student teaching as an undergraduate student, and I realized that I really enjoyed the science courses.
Sure.
Not so much the being in the gym with the kids, but went on for a master's and then a Ph.D. and sort of got more and more involved and just loved every minute of it. The more I learned.
Yeah, what's interesting, I was a physical education major as well too, and it was my excitement in taking the anatomy, physiology, and exercise physiology classes that sparked my interest in pursuing a career in exercise physiology. So that's great to hear. As a student, who were your mentors, and did they play a key role in your development as a professional?
Yes, Thomas Manfredi, who was at Southern Connecticut State College when I was an undergrad and a master's student, was a huge influence. And he's really the one that got me truly interested in the science and in the clinical aspects of exercise physiology.
Sure, and as a professional, has there been anybody who also has been important for your career development?
A lot of people, that's the problem, right? There's so many people that really have been wonderful and had a huge influence on me over the years. So my mentor as a PhD student, Bill Stone. When I was a PhD student, Gary Cranberry, who was the head of our department. And Jim Skinner was a faculty member there on my committee, and the really good people. I mean, they're famous and doing wonderful work, but you really had a good influence. Sharon Plowman, when I got my first faculty job, Sharon Plowman was just absolutely wonderful. Taught me more about what it meant to be a faculty member than I thought possible. So there's been a lot of people. And Toby Tate, who was the dean before me at UIC.
Who will be receiving the honor award this year.
Yeah, and just absolutely wonderful. And when she stepped down as dean, she was always there if I needed help. Never imposed herself on me or what I decided. Always there, willing to answer questions and help steer me along.
Sure. I believe you became a fellow in 1987. How was becoming a fellow important for you in your career and during your development as a professional?
Well, it was, it was a great honor, but also a responsibility. And ACSM's been my professional home since I was a student. So it just made sense to become a fellow and become more involved in the organization. And I did that primarily through the local ACSMs and also back then when the abstracts were evaluated all the time. I, for many years, chaired one of those abstract evaluation teams.
What advice would you give to a young professional who is trying to navigate their way in the field, particularly with their volunteer service to ACSM?
Well, they got to. My first advice to any of the students is you got to follow your heart. If you don't love it, you're probably going to hate it later on. So make sure you love it now.
Sure.
And that's the same with ACSM and going to the meetings. It's coming to the meetings every year is just fabulous, and every year it becomes more fun because you get to know more people.
And how has it been to come back to the meeting after a 3-year hiatus?
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful to see people again, and the pandemic's been hard on all of us.
Sure. How challenging has it been for you to navigate your career from graduate school to where you are now?
I don't know that I would call it a challenge. It's just been a series of opportunities that presented themselves, and I decided to, go that route. It hasn't been a straight line. Like most people, my career is sort of a winding path, and it's listening to people, taking advantage of opportunities that present themselves. But I never really looked at it as a challenge per se. It was always fun.
So this year, you are going to be awarded the Citation Award, which is an absolute honor, and congratulations.
Thank you.
What does it mean for you to be able to receive that award?
Oh, it's incredible. Realizing that my peers and colleagues think that the work that we've been doing is worthwhile, and being recognized for that is tremendously rewarding. But it also is it's a way to show my students, postdocs, and people I worked with over the years
Sure.
that anybody can get there if it just takes a little bit of hard work and determination.
I believe it was in 1984 you had your first publication titled Effects of 10 Weeks of Cardiac Rehabilitation on Blood Clotting and Risk Factors. Now you have over 300. Congratulations. What advice would you have for somebody who's trying to write and publish and be productive?
Again, it's something that you gotta love to do, and not be afraid. Work with people. You can't do this alone. You gotta work with people that can help you along. I've always been a believer in working in teams, and when you write and you let your team look at it and give you criticisms, and it takes a while. It gets easier over the years, but I still put whatever I write today in front of other people, and it still looks like a lot of red on that paper, and so you just got to be willing to accept constructive criticism and keep moving.
What would you say are some of the accomplishments that you're most proud of thus far in your career?
Primarily the success of my students. I mean, the success of my students and postdocs, and as I became a more senior faculty member, the success of our junior faculty that I try to help out. That is the most rewarding part.
And I'm sure it's very rewarding coming to ACSM and being able to see them present and give talks.
Absolutely, and that's something that they've been doing since day one.
Sure. Yeah, that's fantastic. What advice might you give current leaders and maybe perhaps future leaders of ACSM in helping to move the field forward?
Got to listen to the membership. It's the leaders don't make the organization; the members do. And listen to the membership. Make sure that we try to provide something all the time that members are going to enjoy and get something out of, which I believe that that's what the conference is about, and journals and everything else. But really listen to that membership.
And some of that membership is 18, 19, 20, 21 years of age right now, trying to figure out their way, their path forward in the areas of exercise science, sports medicine. What advice would you have for that young undergraduate student looking to make a difference in the field in their career path?
Get involved. Really get involved. Get involved in the lab, with your mentors. Get involved in their professional organizations, and of course, get involved in ACSM.
Sure.
Go to the local conference,
the
go
regional
to the national
chapters.
conference, and get involved. Volunteer for committees. Build that network of people. Right now, they might build a network primarily of other students, but they're also going to grow up in the field together, and it will be a large network in a few years.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Fernhall, I want to thank you very much for taking the time today to sit down with us. Congratulations on your Citation Award. Very excited for you, and hope you enjoy the rest of your conference.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Thank you.